Los Duranes has a wonderful and very colorful history. It's one of the Middle Rio Grande Valley's oldest neighborhoods, just second, I believe, to Old Town. It's uniquely located along the Rio Grande, west of Rio Grande Boulevard, north of Mountain and I-40, and it's just a small little pocket in the middle of the city, which was an old farming village, and it also had a lot of families that were sheep herders. Well, I think a lot of why it has retained so much of its original character is because of the families. We have currently families that date back many generations. Their ancestors are still here. Our streets are named after their families, and I think that gives a level of continuity and history to the area. But we do have acequias that run throughout the neighborhood. They are being used by some of the landowners, not everyone, but they're really a primary feature of the neighborhood and really contribute to our character. The acequia system, the way the land has been subdivided, many of the lots, including my own, it's very long and narrow, primarily to have access to the acequia system. Also, our narrow roadways is very characteristic of the neighborhood, and we have some roadways that you literally have to pull over to the side on somebody's property to allow somebody to pass. And we really like that, because when that does occur, you know, the people that live here, we wave to each other. It's a very friendly and sort of humbling experience. The Los Duranes Community Center, the original center was built, I'm not sure how many decades ago, but it had been here for quite some time. The city of Albuquerque had built onto it, made some improvements, but it really wasn't adequate for the neighborhood or for other people visiting. The neighborhood association and people that were really concerned about that all banded together and approached our city councilor, Debbie O'Malley at the time, and asked her to start working towards replacing the center. And we're in the new center now. It's been here not quite 2 years, and it's just been, the new community center has been part of the renaissance of the neighborhood. So along with new construction of the community center, there was an opportunity to add a public art piece as part of the project. I was on the selection committee for the public art that's currently being installed in the park. Okay. There were 95 initial submissions, so the committee had to get together several times to narrow it down until we got to a selection of 4 finalists. And then we got together that final time and picked from the 4. What we look for in a new public art piece for the project was someone or a project that looked to the history of the neighborhood, the acequias, as we talked about, just the character of the neighborhood. So we wanted that to be reflected in the piece. I think John's piece really spoke to the committee and what we were looking for way better than some of the other submissions, where it had a nice connection to, again, the agricultural history. It was representational, but not too representational, not too abstract. But so I thought it would be very accessible and understandable to people who aren't used to looking at public art, and that it would be a really nice piece for the neighborhood to celebrate. And we also like the fact that you could see the piece from afar, you could walk up to it, you could walk through it. I think that was really attractive to people as well.
Los Duranes is a different neighborhood, and it was really a treat to be introduced to it and to become familiar with it. It's tucked away. They have kind of a nice tucked away by the river position that I think maybe the average person that lives here may not become familiar with. And there's a certain charm and a certain sense of eclecticism that you see in the neighborhood, and I think that's pretty neat. Inspiration for the design of the piece was influenced by upfront desire for the city to have the piece celebrate the agricultural roots of the Los Duranes community. And so I did a certain amount of research, including just coming around, getting acquainted with the neighborhood, and getting acquainted with the whole idea of the acequias, the irrigation system that they had here, and the agriculture, the farming, which is the roots of the community. That is why the community exists here on the banks of the Rio Grande, is because it was an efficient way of irrigating the crops. When it came time for me to present my design to the committee, it was a bit different because I am used to an in-person presentation, and in this case I had to submit boards, which are, you know, just like a foam core board with graphics that are portraying your ideas and your proposal. But, you know, ultimately your design is your design. You present it the best way you can, and you just let the chips fall as they may. Ultimately, as it turned out, the process functioned quite well. The typical question is, what's it gonna be, or what's it supposed to be, you know? And that's, believe it or not, for me, a very hard question to answer. I think people in general are intrigued by the piece and are anxious to be able to experience it when it's finished, and be able to walk through it and experience the space inside it, and have it be part of their park. I really do believe that that is the case. The orientation of the piece in the park is, well, it's an east-west sort of linear layout. As you know, the park itself is just a long east-west axis, long rectangular space which reflects the history of the area. The typical, in the earlier history, the typical plot of land was a long east-west axis to enable irrigation off of the northwest running river. And so you see remnants of that, and the park is one of them, remnants of the early connection to the grid of the irrigation. Well, there's the two large elements that are inspired by plow blades, and they are the way they're installed in the installation is supposed to give a sense of a plow plowing through the earth, making a furrow in the field. The title of the piece is Furrow, in order to give the viewer an additional little clue as to the intent of the artist. So we have rammed earth walls, which are supposed to echo a furrow in a field, or even perhaps the bank of an acequia. And so the large steel, starched steel blades, and I chose a rusty finish for those, just to give it a more earthy, feel, I suppose. And then behind the blades we have sort of tubular elements supporting these translucent panels that they're translucent but give you a hint of green. The thinking with that was that these elements behind the blade could be sprouting plants in a field. They could even be willow branches leaning over an acequia. And so the panels, I wanted a reference to that greenness, but a subtleness, a translucency, so that it wasn't overpowering. It was something that also could catch light during various times of the day and provide a luminescence to the installation. I think I do have frequently sort of a reductive vocabulary in my approach to public art, and I sometimes lean heavy on a simple but bold element that can really catch you and bring you into the piece. I think the pieces, the elements that I refer to as plow blades, do that with this piece, and then the rest of it are just a few accents that can kind of flesh out the story. I want the neighborhood residents, I think, just to find that the experience of it is enjoyable, that experiencing it visually is enjoyable, walking through it and experiencing the space of it is an enjoyable. I wouldn't want to limit what associations that they could draw from that experience, but I would want them to, ideally, I want them to be aware of my inspiration and my intent with the design process and the ultimate design of the piece.